evening. Welcome to Vibrant Hong Kong. I'm Mishi.
And I'm Erica. Good evening, everyone. As regular viewers of our show would know, Hong Kong is home to museums of various sizes dedicated to history, culture, art, science, and many other themes. So, Mishi, which one has left the biggest impression on you?
I'd have to go with Hong Kong Space Museum. As a child, I was drawn to its unique exterior and wondered what went on under the dome. After setting foot inside and watching some shows in its space theater, I became fascinated by the mysteries of the universe. Although the establishment is now almost 40 years old, it's far from outdated.
I couldn't agree more. I personally am quite fond of the roller coaster-like installation at Hong Kong Science Museum, which produces dramatic sounds and visual effects through setting a stream of balls in motion. This representative exhibit can be considered a collective memory among many Hong Kongers.
To encourage citizens to visit our local museums, the Leisure and Cultural Services Department offers the annual Museum Pass scheme, which grants individuals or families unlimited access to its museums and most special exhibitions. Furthermore, it has been holding Muse Fest Hong Kong annually since 2015. The first major event of the 2024 edition, Fun at Museum Carnival, took place last weekend. Let's take a look at some highlights.
The inaugural event of Muse Fest Hong Kong 2024, Fun at Museum Carnival, has drawn to a successful close. A collaborative effort between several cultural divisions within the Leisure and Cultural Services Department, it aimed to showcase the diversity of Chinese arts and culture to the public. Performances featuring various types of puppets, including rod puppets, glove puppets, and string puppets, were staged at the carnival. Veteran local puppeteers presented a number of classic plays, enabling audiences to experience the charm of puppetry, a Hong Kong intangible cultural heritage item.
The Intangible Cultural Heritage Office has organized a variety of programs for publics to enjoy and understand of the Ice Age of Hong Kong. For example, the White-Hole Lion Dance opening performance. I think you know Lion Dance is commonly known to local people. They are easily found in traditional festivals, wedding ceremony, and on other occasions. We invite the Lion Dance masters to introduce its history and cultural significance, and also they will demonstrate how to play the lion dance. We have set up an attractive lion dance interactive booth. The public has a chance to brandish the lion heads to try out the lion dance movement and experience these Ice Age items that integrates martial arts and performing arts. And moreover, our office has organized a variety of interactive programs here, such as the Arts in Flower buttons. That is a traditional handicraft, and also on the Ice Age infantry of Hong Kong. The artists will demonstrate traditional making technique for the flower buttons. Moreover, to celebrate a pair of newborn pandas, the artists will also teach the public how to make the flower buttons in the shape of a panda. We aim to deliver a rich and immersive experience that introduces the public the diversity of Ice Age.
This theatre show is an offering from music and martial arts community, a whimsical take on the tale of an iconic hero, told to the accompaniment of Chinese classical music, acquaints viewers with the martial arts culture unique to various Chinese communities in a light-hearted way.
Oh, it's pretty special. It's amazing the level of professionalism and the coordination with the different instruments. And it's quite, although I can't understand Cantonese, you can hear the comedy.
我有啲驚驚地喎，嚟啊！食過下嘢粥噶喎，哦，停啦，槍！
And the gestures of the other performer, so it's very entertaining.
It's not just because of our predecessors' preservation efforts that we're able to appreciate the artifacts on display at our museums. The Conservation Office also plays a vital role by providing a range of professional services.
The Conservation Office organized this booth for the general public. We hope to introduce the use of wax in conservation. Wax is a very common type of material we use. It appears in paper, wood, and metal, as well as other objects. And furthermore, we also have wooden cake mold for the public to use the clay to make their own cake mold. And we will also provide them with the magnet so that they can take it away as a souvenir. Today, we are specifically target the public for all ages because we want to join the public with the conservation. And in the past, conservation is quite a mystical part of the museum. Now we want to make it at front so that people will understand more our work and they will support us more.
Organized by the LCSD, the 10th edition of Muse Fest Hong Kong will run until November 30th. Apart from the carnival in the clip we just saw, it also features many other exciting programs suitable for people of all ages.
And here to tell us more is Ms. Amy Chan, Marketing and Business Development Director of LCSD. Welcome to Vibrant Hong Kong.
Hello, everyone.
Welcome.
Hi, Amy. So could you begin by introducing the theme of this year's festival and how many museums will be taking part in the 2024 edition?
This year marks the 10th anniversary of the Museum Festival 2024 with the theme Hong Kong has HAS Museums, which means History, Art and Science. Over 70 exciting programs across 17 LCSD museums and cultural spaces will be held in November.
Okay, so I'm aware that the festival is going to last for an entire month featuring 17 different venues. So I'm sure going to be a lot of exciting activities coming up. Would there be any collaborations with different organizations? And could you give us a preview of what's on offer?
You will find many extraordinary happenings with the 5 programs, like the special series, Meet the Curator, Fun Day series, the collaboration series, exhibition and film show series, and also the interactive experience series with many tours and workshops. And one of the exciting collaborations is the guidance of museum artifacts at the Shenzhen Museum. On the 16th of November, there will be a talk titled Behind the Scenes of Conservator at Hong Kong Museum of Arts. And a specialist from Shenzhen Museum will share about their preventive conservation work.
Wow, it sounds like there's a lot to offer and it's really exciting.
That's right, it's quite an exchange. Well, the talk by the artifact guardians of Shenzhen Museum about the inner workings of their field certainly sounds intriguing. Now, are there other activities that visitors can join on the spot which will allow them to experience another side of our museums?
The museum will host Fun Day on weekends in November. Like the Shangyu Folk Museum, they will have a video screening and a photo corner Fun Day. And All Street Art Space will have free music and artist tour. There will be Fun Day in the Hong Kong Heritage Museum, the Hong Kong Railway Museum, and the Fireboat Museum.
I think the Oil Street Art Space is such a creative space that allows a lot of different independent artists to showcase their work because it's actually in my neighborhood and I've filmed a show in there and I think it's such a great intimate space for exhibitions as well.
And for such an interactive experience as well. So you mentioned about Fireboat. Would there be like a guided tour or could you elaborate a little bit more on the highlights of the Fireboat Museum?
Yes, the highlight is the guided tour and there will be firefighters demonstration too. Sounds interesting, right?
Yes, it does sound interesting.
Right. I've actually been at the Fireboat Museum and I think it's most exciting to actually, check out all the nooks and crannies and then sneak into like small spaces on the boat and imagine that I'm a firefighter. It's actually quite a scene to look at, and I've never had the experience to look at fireboats without this museum. You know, it's such an exciting experience to be on the boat.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I mean, you can also like have fun and learn about the historical history, the information of that place too. I can't wait to learn about what goes on behind the scenes at different museums. Now, I'm suddenly reminded of the film series where the exhibits come alive at night. Now, of course, this is obviously not going to happen in real life, but I find the idea of visiting a museum after dark quite amusing. So would there be such opportunity for the public to do that during the festival?
Yes, actually, on 24th of November, the Fed Staff House of Museum of Teaware will celebrate its 40th anniversary with a program, The Light of the Museum of Teaware.
Wow, so the nighttime activity sounds really interesting. What is the difference between the daytime activities then?
A daytime museum visit is generally more emphasized on interaction with the artwork and coming to the details and education, while this nighttime program is more emphasized on atmosphere and the sensory engagement.
Wow, I think that's really smart, and I understand why it takes an entire month, because you can keep going back to different museums to experience daytime and nighttime experience there.
Right, I'm sure it's a lot of fun because it's culturally educational, and it's also visually very entertaining. So it's a very comprehensive, full experience for all the visitors, which sounds like a lot of fun. Now, what other recommendations do you have for our viewers?
I would recommend the Charm of Color Travel with Ceramics Through Time and Space at Auschwitz. This program is very interesting, and the participant can explore the productions of Chinese ceramics and the modern ceramics art.
Well, it sounds like we're going to learn a lot about the traditional techniques of productions of Chinese ceramics, as well as learn about the modern styles as well. So it's truly a travel through time and an experience of different beautiful colors as well.
I understand that the team at LCSD has also collected some precious footage for public viewing as part of this year's program. Could you tell us more about that?
The Hong Kong Heritage Museum and the Hong Kong Film Archive will also post screening on Peking Opera Blues, along with a post-screening talk about Mr. James Wong, iconic music, and his remarkable career on film and music.
Wow, Mr. James Wong is such an icon.
I know, right? And it's such a great opportunity to watch, you know, films that are outside of the pop mainstream collection. So that's great. Now, one thing that Hong Kongers always enjoy doing is, of course, shopping. So will there be any opportunities to shop at the events at this festival specifically?
Yes, we will also launch a mega sale in selected museum publications and souvenir with a discount of up to 50%. So this is some items are new this year, so don't miss the chance.
Sounds like quite a deal.
Yeah. You know, Michelle, although I don't shop much, but if I get to visit different museums, I would always get, you know, some kind of souvenirs for myself to keep a little memory of going there as a visit, you know, sort of like a coin where you press it really hard and then you get a little souvenir to bring home.
Right?
Yeah.
A new pattern from the museum. That's super cool. I love collecting those coins as well. I'm just really curious and excited to know what's on offer in the shops at this Hong Kong exhibition.
Definitely. And I would wonder, would it be like a pineapple bun little souvenir?
That would be so cool. Maybe a pineapple bun and the Space Museum.
Now, as you mentioned earlier, this year marks the 10th anniversary of Muse Fest Hong Kong. So let's delve into its history for a little bit. Now, how did this event come about in the first place? And how has the scale of the activities and the number of participants changed over the years?
The museum's festival started in 2015 with the film Transcend. And all these years, it has grown from featuring 14 museums to 70 museums and art space in this year, and also from 16 days of program to a spreading of a month of programs in 2024. And last year, we welcomed 520,000 visitors. We really want to exceed that number this year.
Wow, that's such a drastic boost.
I know, and it seems like we've seen some growth and expansion in the scale of this event, and it is good news for LCSD and, of course, to all the arts and cultural festival lovers as well. Now, historically, which activities have been most popular among the public, and are there any programs that are suitable for tourists visiting Hong Kong?
One of the most popular programs is the 2-day open carnival at the Cultural Center Piazza. We have many varieties of stage performance and also special activities like waxing at conservation workshop and library on wheels. And for the tourists, I will recommend them to visit Shamtong Oak Museum, Intangible Cultural Heritage Center Fun Day, because it will be tons of fun, and the visitor can explore the rich and diverse cultural heritage of Hong Kong.
Wow, Shamtong Oak is quite a landmark in Hong Kong, culturally and historically. And do you think these activities would be fun for little kids as well?
Yes, absolutely.
They sound like very entertaining and educational activities. Now, thank you so much to Amy for giving us such a comprehensive look into this year's festival. And we're very confident that your team and you, of course, will be successful in proving that Hong Kong has museums. Thank you so much, Amy.
Thank you. Thank you.
When we come back, we'll bring you some footage from the Hong Kong Tennis Open, which recently took place at Victoria Park. But first, here are some highlights from the Future Science Prize Award ceremony.
Established in 2016 by a group of scientists and entrepreneurs, the Future Science Prize rewards scientists who have made outstanding achievements in mainland China, Hong Kong, Macau, and Taiwan. This marks the second consecutive year that the award ceremony took place in Hong Kong. Professor Dennis Low is the Life Science Prize laureate of the inaugural edition.
The Future Science Prize has also been called the Nobel Prize of China. So having the chance of holding the Future Science Prize in Hong Kong in 2 consecutive years is really exciting news for the scientific community and for students in Hong Kong. One of the missions for Hong Kong is to become an international center for research and innovation. And so having the ability to have world-class scientists in Hong Kong will enhance our global reputation in the science and technology area. And also, in preparation for the next generation of scientists, I think it's important for our students to have a face-to-face meeting with this world-class scientist.
Welcome to the 2024 Future Science Prize Award Ceremony.
The Future Science Prize consists of 3 categories: life science, physical science, and mathematics and computer science. The 4 winners this year received their honors in our city before an audience of over 500.
2024未来科学大奖生命科学奖获奖者是邓宏奎。
Future Science Prize laureate in Life Science.
第一个感受就是特别感谢这个提名人和这个评审委员会吧，对我们这个团队工作几10年工作的一个认可，对我们团队是一个很大的荣誉，对我们来说起到了一个很大的激励的作用吧。我和我的团队会更加的努力吧。它这个意义是这样的，就是说可能对这个年轻的科学家有很大的这个激励作用吧，使大家从未来的角度来思考，去做更有挑战性的事情。人类未来。
Please put your hands together for the 2024 Future Science Prize laureates in Physical Science, Pao Zhang and Yadong Li.
非常高兴获得未来科学大奖。我相信未来科学大奖一定会对中国的科学的发展起到关键重要的推动作用。我相信未来科学大奖一定会激励更多的年轻科学家在科学领域里边奋发图强，能够为推动科学做出更大的贡献。
这个感受是，当然这个为未来的工作下一步这个怎么继续努力，那个再翻阅一次。这个获得这个奖以后，就让我更加坚定的把未来的这个工作呢集中在这个单原子催化的工业化，怎么样能够真正的造福人类，这就是我们的这个追求。 就把其他的东西先放一边去。
恭喜两位获奖。
2024 Future Science Prize laureate in Mathematics and Computer Science, Professor Bin Yong-sun.
我在香港学了很多时间，在香港科大拿的那个博士学位，今年来香港领取这个奖，我是特别高兴的。我想继续在这个方向上继续往前做嘛。我们因为这个方向有很多问题要继续深入。这个奖影响挺大的，可以激励更多的人，鼓励更多的科学家努力吧。要长期坚持。
As the laureate stated, the prize doesn't only serve as an encouragement, but is also a form of recognition. In addition to the award ceremony, various activities were held over 5 consecutive days during Future Science Prize Week, including an exhibition, a forum, and science symposiums. It's hoped that through different types of sharing, more youngsters can understand the work of scientists and take an interest in pursuing a scientific career.
As a student who's interested in science and innovation now, it is really a golden era because of the amount of resources that the Hong Kong SAR government and the central government has put into science and technology. And also the tools that is now available in science is also unprecedented. So now, if students want to join us, I think now is a great time.
The Future Science Prize aims to promote the development of science, as well as inspire China, the world, and the next generation through the spirit of innovative science.
Erica, do you know who's the first Chinese women's tennis player in history to ever win a Grand Slam singles title?
Of course I do. It's the legendary Li Na. She actually came to Hong Kong last week to oversee a competition as its tournament director, and she even played on the court.
Also in attendance was former world #1 Naomi Osaka, who was originally set to compete but sadly had to withdraw due to an injury.
Despite this, fans were not left disappointed as she still made an appearance at the WTA 250 tournament alongside a star-studded lineup which features some of the world's top players, as well as local #1 and 2, Yudis Chang and Cody Wong. Here's a recap of the gripping on-court action at Victoria Park.
A star-studded scene at Hong Kong Tennis Field. Global stars of women's tennis, including Simona Halep, Diana Schneider, Leylah Fernandez, Katie Botta, and Wang Xingyu competed at the Prudential Hong Kong Tennis Open 2024 from October 26 to November 3rd.
非常感谢中国香港网球总会，然后还有 WTA 团队的努力。 能够在欣赏网球比赛的同时，可以感受到，香港的中西文化结合的特殊性。
Li Na, China's legendary 2-time Grand Slam winner, brought her star power to this year's tournament as tournament director.
This year's impressive lineups of world-class players highlights the Hong Kong Tennis Open status as a premier event in both the WTA series and the Hong Kong sporting calendar.
The tournament, with a prize pool of $250,000, showcased world-class players at Hong Kong's iconic Victoria Park Tennis Stadium.
Hello, Oscar. Thank you for joining us. I know it's the 7th edition this year. What do you think are the factors contributing to this success and popularity?
Every year, we try to bring the best professionals to come and compete in Hong Kong. We also take a lot of feedback from all our spectators and the players to see how we can make the event better each year. We try to make their stay in Hong Kong as stress-free as possible and make them enjoy Hong Kong, everything that Hong Kong has to offer, so that they leave with very fond memories of the city.
4-time Grand Slam champion and former world #1 Naomi Osaka was initially among competitors. Unfortunately, she withdrew before the start of the tournament due to an injury, but still came to the city to participate in different activities and interacted cordially with the supporters. Hong Kong's top players Yudas Chong and Cody Wong also competed in both singles and doubles at the main tournament. Although Yudas saved 5 set points to come back to 5-3 in the opening set against Australia's Priscilla Hon, she ultimately lost 6-3, 6-4 in the first round of singles.
I think in the beginning, she was definitely taking more initiative in the match. I was a little bit on my back feet a lot of the times, and I kind of told myself I had to play more aggressive and kind of make her move in order to be able to convert a lot of the points. And I think I did that well, just to force her to make a few more errors.
Born in Brisbane to parents who immigrated from Hong Kong, Priscilla Hon has a special connection to the city. You've brought a special guest here today as well.
Yeah, Papa. Yeah, she's 91, so she doesn't leave the house much anymore. I feel like we had a good match out there. Obviously, I was saying it's tough having to play Yudas again. Obviously, had chances to close out in the first bit earlier, but I'm glad I didn't let it affect me too much. And so, yeah, overall, I'm really happy.
On the final day, Orike Ekeri and Mokoto Ninomiya made a turnaround victory, defeating Shuko Aoyama and Eri Hozumi by 6-4, 4-6, 11-9 to win the doubles tennis title. It was a battle of the top 2 tournament seeds in the singles final as top seed Diana Schneider faced off against tournament number 2 seed Katie Bolter. 20-year-old Schneider swept aside the opponent with a 6-1, 6-2 victory. With her winning title in Hong Kong, Schneider reaches a new career high to world ranking number 12.
For me, it's first time in Hong Kong, and the facility is great atmosphere. I did enjoy everything here. Finishing season on a high note with another trophy is definitely putting some nice memory to finish 2024.
Besides the lively matches, this year's tournament village was packed with activities, including a Hong Kong-themed Chill and Fun Hong Kong market.
Our objective is to create Hong Kong's reputation as a tennis hub. We are one of 3 cities in Asia that host both a WTA and ATP event. We will build on that and try to, in the long term, upgrade our events and try to make Hong Kong as the undisputed capital of tennis.
Having followed tennis for a while now, I'm especially excited by the prospect of this tournament. This mega event isn't just about world-class tennis. The public gets to enjoy the thrilling matches so close while enjoying this vibrant and festive village here.
The recent policy address proposed exploring the establishment of an arbitration system for sports dispute resolution.
Professional analysts estimate that by 2028, the global sports market will surpass $680 billion. This mechanism, facilitated by a third party, will not only enhance the governance of Hong Kong's sports industry, but also provide better support and protection for athletes.
As the only common law region in China, Hong Kong is home to a bilingual legal system and a wealth of legal resources and talents. The city should leverage these strengths to promote the development of sports mediation and arbitration.
Tonight, we've invited Mr. Nick Chan, Director of the Hong Kong Regional Arbitration Center of the Asian African Legal Consultative Organization, to shed some light on this legal specialty. Welcome to our show.
Welcome. Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Thank you, Nick. Now, could you begin by telling us what are some common disputes in the field of sports?
All sorts, really. So you have contractual and non-contractual disputes. For contractual, you might have sponsorship-related, licensing-related, and player-agent-related disputes. And for non-contractual, you have disciplinary-related. So someone might have got 2 yellow cards or a red card, and they have to play next week. They wish to play next week, but they can't. So they might go through a disciplinary procedure, appeal procedure within their sports association, and then if they're still not satisfied, so this is a great platform.
So from my understanding, it sounds like when it comes to contract-related disputes, there might be a black and white standard. But when it comes to disciplinary disputes, there could be a gray area, right?
Well, it's not strictly grey for disciplinary, but in the sense that for people who are not in that sports circle, there is a range. So some flexibility, some discretion, so to speak. But in some ways, the courts are also able to apply some discretion to see what's right, what is in the sports industry norm for contract-related disputes.
Wow, I see. I'm so glad we have an expert here today.
Yes, definitely. So how have these conflicts been resolved in the past? Could you give us a simple example?
Well, in the past, these conflicts are not easily resolved. The worst case, in a way, in terms of public relations, is it goes to court, drags on forever. It might take a year, 2 years to actually get to the hearing date. But there are even, in some ways, worse cases where the sports association themselves don't really have a proper procedure. So that you might go to a disciplinary procedure and only go to appeal procedure to find out they have the same people sitting on the same committee. You've heard about it now, So in those cases, it's not that satisfactory. And we have cases where you've gone through that and people still, you think, okay, appeal procedure, that should be the end. But people still go to the board of the association, go to the sports commissioner, go to the sports federation and the Olympics committee, or go to, the other venues, court of public opinion, or go to court. In terms of examples, I mean, we've had cases where people bought expensive tickets, go to mega events, hoping to see a great show, but that person didn't turn out. So how do you resolve it? Hong Kong don't have class actions, so people who just bought tickets, few $100s or few $1,000s, it might not be cost effective to go to court for those cases. By 2028, you're looking at $680 billion US dollars. So huge field. So what people have done sometimes is in the contract itself, when you enter into it, ideally you're specified how to resolve it. So you could say conciliation, let's have a good chat, have someone sit in, talk about it. So mediation could be a way, and arbitration, you give finality to that issue.
So I guess whichever way, it's at the end, it's an effective tool to maintain good relationships for both sides.
Yes.
That's correct.
Fair play, sports.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Now, I know that going to court isn't the most time and cost-effective way to resolve sports-related disputes. So what role does a sports mediation and arbitration system play in settling these conflicts?
Well, I think in the spirits of sports or in the spirits of Olympic spirits, I mean, you really want people to have fair play, enjoy, and no biasness and so on. So with mediation and arbitration, you have a neutral mediator, third party. So a center like ours, right? So we could appoint a neutral mediator or a mutual arbitrator. So they can help resolve disputes.
Right. What is the difference between arbitration and mediation?
Thank you. Firstly, mediation. With mediation, let's say Erica and Mishi have a dispute. I'm sitting in the middle as a neutral.
Rarely, but
rarely as
sure.
Yes. But if you do have it, we can find a creative solution. Let's say we're both after this, this beautiful display. So, if you went to court, the court might say, why not be creative? You might decide it belongs to Mishi. Let's let you keep it. But mediation, you might say, actually, you both are happy with the arrangement where you keep it for weekdays and Erica keep it for weekends. So that result would never come out in a court decision. So mediation. Party autonomy, you both have to agree to the process, and we would go through some procedure so that we understand common grounds. So if you two agree on a common ground, whenever you say something, one of us say something that are against the common ground, I can remind the parties, we have some common ground, and let's form the issue, let's form our agenda, let's solve it. It's more forward-looking than backward-looking. Forward-looking in the sense of what would it take to make you both happy. Backward-looking in court is usually fault-finding, so where you have to be very defensive and antsy about the situation. Let's go to arbitration. Because mediation cannot force a decision, so in arbitration, the arbitrator at the end of the day will be able to give you finality. That person could help you decide, both decide what's fair. But in the court system, how is that different from a court system? The judge decides too. In the judge system, because it's more formal, lots of more procedures, document exchange, more expensive, therefore. And with court, you have appeal after appeal and appeal potentially. Arbitration, usually one-off. Big cases, small cases are both suitable to mediation and arbitration.
I see. Wow.
Okay.
And the result could be kept confidential with both of mediation and arbitration.
Now, Nick, I'm curious to know, under the Basic Law, Hong Kong's legal system remains based on common law and is supplemented by statutory law. So how is this beneficial to promoting sports mediation and arbitration?
Well, first of all, now that you mentioned the Basic Law Chapter 6 also talked about sports as our rights. And then actually talk about sports 20 times. But how does it help? Well, I mean, not to say civil law countries are not, conducive to sports development, but in our development, our history, we had, it's a very big international city. So we are big on Western sports and Asian sports in a way. So in that sense, the common law jurisdiction help us being, people coming here familiarize themselves with the local law. Even if they live in common law jurisdictions, they would feel, okay, similar law, therefore maybe rules governing sports disputes would be similar, and it is. So they would feel more comfortable maybe hosting international sports events in Hong Kong or resolving their disputes from other parts of the world, such as, e-games are big, right? E-sports, 50,000 people or more could sit around a stadium watching maybe the three of us play computer games, right? So we could help export that services and attract people to come here to host sports events. So, and realize our potential as a very strong sporting economy.
It sounds like the transparency and the fairness of this whole thing is going to build trust between the athlete and the organization. So I guess that's really important as well.
And I definitely think that the esports industry really need mediation and arbitration services, because my friends get into huge conflicts over their e-games. So I think it's a very good service for this industry. Now, Nick, I understand that you're also a legal advisor for the Sports Federation and Olympic Committee of Hong Kong, China. As someone who works closely with the sports industry, do you think there's an urgent need to put such a system in place in Hong Kong?
There's an urgent need for Asia, Global South, to have this in place somewhere, and it makes the most sense to do this in Hong Kong. Under one country, two systems, with the backing of our country and our friends from all over the region and the world, it makes us the best place to do it. And I would say, for example, if you look further afield in Japan, for example, they have sports dispute resolution. But if you look on the website, it's all in Japanese, which is great, but then it's more local. You look at other parts of Asia, the only other one is in Malaysia, called AIAC. And AIAC is part of ELCO as well. So as we sort of beef up and do more, we had the full support of the team in Malaysia to help us realize our goal and ambitions.
Wow. Now, looking ahead, what are the prospects of this specialized field? Is it positive? Do you see it growing, expanding?
We have a lot of people interested in this space. Today, we have about 200 lawyers, arbitrators, mediators who are specialized in sports or have good exposure to sports-related disputes resolution. But we want to grow that because that's not going to be enough. We would want to train up at the SF and OC. We have an Olympics Academy. So we're exploring, training up people who are sports athletes to have a second career. First with maybe conducting sports mediation and sports arbitration. After that, venture into commercial world in terms of, mediation, arbitration, not necessarily limited to sports.
I'm just, back of my mind, I'm just thinking, let the world burn and have more disputes than we have more business. But I'm just kidding, we're striving for world peace, especially among the sports field.
So we just went through different kinds of conflicts, how to resolve them, but we would need talents to deal with them, right?
Yes.
So does Hong Kong currently have enough talent in the field of sports dispute resolution?
We have a good number, but we could do more. So we could export these talents. Today, Hong Kong, for example, well, first of all, mediators and arbitrators do not necessarily have to be lawyers. So the field is wider. So we could train up people. So what we're doing at the center is we have a top-up course for experienced mediators and arbitrators to learn about the industry. How do you help people mediate and resolve the dispute in their industry if you don't understand their industry, right, or our industry? So we will have a top-up course for them. And we also have a fresh course for people who've never done mediation, never done arbitration.
I feel that with Hong Kong already being a leading mediation and arbitration center, sports dispute resolution is certainly a logical and promising next step. Thank you, Nick, for sharing your expertise with us tonight.
Our pleasure, Erica. Mishi, thank you so much.
Thank you, Nick. A documentary produced to commemorate the 60th anniversary of China-France diplomatic ties was recently shown in Hong Kong. Titled The Art Trilogy of Zhao Wou-Ki, it records the titular artist's creative milestones in Hangzhou, Hong Kong, and Paris. Let's take a look at some highlights from the screening.
Zhao Wou-Ki was a French-Chinese master of modern art who rose to worldwide fame for his oil paintings that combine traditional Chinese painting techniques with Western abstract compositions. But did you know that his artistic life spanned Hangzhou, Hong Kong, and Paris? The art trilogy of Zhao Wou-Ki delves into these three key periods of his career. Dr. Chui, I understand that you've been promoting Sino-foreign cultural exchange, education, and collaboration for a number of years now. So what led to the decision of making this documentary on Zhao Wou-Ki?
Actually, I've been working closely with different foreign countries in the past 10 years, especially with France, because France and China is very close, especially on the cultural side. The reason why I have the Zhao Wou-Ki documentary this time is mainly because of the China-French diplomatic relations for 60 years. We have to celebrate it. Therefore, I just feel that we have to pick up somebody which is symbolic. Therefore, we can represent both China and France. And this artist, we can say that he represents both China and France. Therefore, I picked him to do the documentary.
So the perfect figure for this kind of celebratory event
yes,
as well.
I think so, yes.
What are your expectations for the film?
We hope that peace, stability, and friendship is very important. Therefore, China and France, through Zhao Wou-Ki, we can feel that we can work closely between China and France through culture. That is one side. On the other hand, I just feel that for the Chinese talents, when they work closely with France, they become famous, like Zhao Wou-Ki. And we hope that more young students from China, including Hong Kong, can go and work closely with Paris so that they become also very successful artists. We can also attract the talents from France and work with China.
To coincide with the 60th anniversary of the establishment of Sino-French diplomatic relations, Dr. Jonathan Chui decided to produce this documentary in the hope that more people can learn about the artist's life, as well as to promote cultural and artistic exchange between China and France. The Consul General of France in Hong Kong was among those invited to the premiere of the trilogy's Hong Kong chapter. And this year marks the 60th anniversary of the establishment of Sino-France ties as well. So in your opinion, what's the significance of the cultural and artistic exchanges between the two countries?
Well, cultural and artistic exchanges between France and China are very important, and they explain also the strong friendship between France and China for so many years. Chinese and French artists for centuries have found mutual inspiration in each other's culture to develop their own style, but also bring the creativity to a new level. And Zhao Wou-Ki's work is really the perfect illustration of the fertility of these cross-cultural exchanges. So France would be happy to welcome even more artists and students in art from China, including Hong Kong, in that spirit.
The film recounts Zhao's artistic career and was filmed in mainland China, Hong Kong, and France. Actress Jocelyn Choi grew up in a family home housing the artist's works. She retraces some of his steps in the feature. Now, Jocelyn, in the documentary, we see you visiting Zhao Wou-Ki's home as a collector of his works. So what was that experience like?
It was amazing. So I've always had like a lot of Zhao Wou-Ki's works in my home because my parents, they really, really love his works. But his works have always been really abstract, and like as a child, I've never really understood like why he was like doing all these like paintings. And until I had the chance to actually visit like Hangzhou and France, like where he grew up as well as where he became famous, and obviously like studied art. When I saw Sihu and all those beautiful view of scenery in Hangzhou, then I was like, oh, that's exactly like what he was trying to show us in his paintings and works.
If you want to learn more about the artist and his works, be sure to stay tuned as RTHK will be broadcasting this documentary very soon.
For those who are interested in fashion, music, art, or pop culture, be sure to head down to Central Harbourfront event space this weekend for HypeFest Hong Kong 2024.
Featuring exciting performances of different music genres by global and local acts, brand pop-ups, exclusive products, and art installations. The event is being held in our city for the first time and is definitely not to be missed.
Thank you for watching tonight. Please join us again next week. Good night.
Good night.